Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to unbox this double bell M16A4 055 Plus. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing, because those interactions help me get seen by the YouTube algorithm. That helps the channel to grow. If you want to support the channel a little bit more, all of my socials are on the link tree, link in my description. Please do stop by and say hello, including my Discord. And if you want to support the channel at the top level, the join button is down below. That will take you to channel memberships. It's 99p a month, totally optional, really appreciated, or whatever is equivalent in your country, instead of 99p. You get custom videos, custom giveaways, your own chat section in my Discord, and a little bit more saying the running the channel. Massively appreciated if you do it. So get into this then. So I am unashamedly quite a big fan of double bell particularly the last 12 months. I think what they're doing and the price ranges that they are putting things out at are fantastic, and they're really impressing me. So today I'm going back to relive some of my airsoft past. So this is an M16. The box is just what we've come to expect from them. I have managed to adjust my camera a little bit higher than normal, and even then it is still not high enough to accommodate the length of this M16. So we'll get the box lid open, and there it is. It is the A4 variant. It is making me very happy to see this. I might, if I move that up, still can't quite get the whole thing on there. It is a hell of a piece of kit. Now this one is particularly interesting because what we're going to do is we're going to go to the accessories. There is our standard high cap mag, and the eagle-eyed amongst you have probably spotted it already. Yes, that is the M203 grenade launcher with a shell as well. Now that makes me pretty damn happy, I'm not going to lie. I am really happy, and I'll come to tell you why this is a little bit my past in a moment. So I've also got in there an alternative bracket for attaching to outer barrels. It may just be a direct replacement, possibly gas blowback attachment bracket, which is quite interesting. It is. We'll have a look at those shortly. And that is an adapter to turn it into a rail mountable M203 launcher, instead replacing those screws there. Again, we'll have a look at that shortly. I am thoroughly impressed with the sort of the heft and the weight of it. So let's get this out, get the box. Nothing else in the box at all. I did sort of have a check earlier. So many years ago, still in my early days of airsofting, I had a JG M16, which put a GMP metal body on it. I did all sorts of bits and pieces, and I absolutely loved it. And it was the A4 version like this, and I absolutely love that thing. And then come to a point where I realised prefer more compact setups. So I got rid of it, and then when I saw Double Bell had done this exact setup that I used to have, I was like almost crying tears of joy. I couldn't avoid it. So we'll get into this and have a look at it. I can't wait to see how this goes. So we've got then a metal muzzle brake that has got looks like the traditional T6 torque screw in there. We'll check that out in the disassembly video. Removing that will give you a 14mm negative thread. We've got the sort of ribbed, I suppose is the best way to describe it, outer barrel. Again, all metal. Now I am noticing that there is a little bit of wobble there in the whole barrel assembly. The whole piece is wobbling, not just the rail unit. Now that may just be that the delta ring at the back needs tightening, which we'll assess. Not great that that's a little bit loose. I mean, it's not going far. The gas rod going back into the upper receiver is stopping it going anywhere, but you don't really want any sort of movement, do you? Fitted already are the rail covers though that are on there, and to remove these you just push down in this hole here, and that will, he says, there we go, they are well fit on there. They do just slide off, and they will just again click back in place. The rail unit itself, you have got an excessive amount of rail space there, like unbelievable amounts, which is quite nice. What I will do is in the second half of the video we'll cover how to fit this onto the outer barrel there. So a little bit disappointed that there's a wobble. You can remove, and it is part of the fitting of that, you can remove that bottom plate. So all I did there was literally just pull down on the delta ring, and then to refit it again, that plate is not metal, it's plastic. To fit it again, we're just going to click that in at the front there. It's taking a little, there we go, wiggle it in a little bit. At the back, we just push it in, there we go, and it should settle in, and the delta ring, still not quite right, is it? That's, there we go, it's a little bit fiddly to get on. So coming back to the receiver, traditional AR style receiver. So we've got our removable carry handle, just undo the big screws there. That one was loose, and that will just come away, giving us a rail unit underneath. Then we've got just standard looking AR body, no markings or anything. We've got a one-sided mag release. We've got a charging handle, which, nice touch, does lock back. The ejection port does cover it. It is very shiny, and it is a roll down rotary style hop, which is interesting. It's good thing. It should release on that bolt release then, so if I press that button there, and it did work, just clicked it in and it released. We've got a normal selector, a little bit loose to semi, quite firm to get it round to auto, quite easy, real no effort to get it off safe, so just something to consider. May not all be the same, it might just be this one. We've then got our traditional pistol grip, plenty of space in there to get in there with my hand, and obviously even if I've got gloves on. Not sharp corners, a little bit rounded, but I think particularly if I'm not playing in gloves, that's going to catch and it's going to rub on both sides of that. But standard solid, there is absolutely no way I can get down those iron sights. I've definitely not got the room, because this thing is one hell of a piece of kit. Like, I can't even fully get it on camera, that's ridiculous. Then we come to our solid stock, which is not actually solid at all. It is empty. We just generally refer to it as solid stock. Now, I did forget to notice and mention there is a sling plate here. Now, usually this plate is here, but it doesn't have a sling loop on it. So the fact that there is a sling loop on there, and you're not reliant on mounting a sling via the rear loop and the front loop, is quite nice that you can, in effect, mount a single point sling on that and have it sat across your chest quite easily. So coming to the stock then, we've got a little pull down tab here. Pull that out and that gives us access to the battery, space and wiring, and it's mini Tamiya, never mind. But there is absolutely, this is just an empty plastic shell. There is bags and bags of space to get all sorts of ridiculous capacities of batteries in there. So a little bit disappointed in the wobble, a little bit disappointed that there is a mini Tamiya in there, but I am interested to go and see how this shoots. Now, word of caution, this has been made right for UK limits. Out of the factory, I'm aware that they're coming out at about 400 FPS, maybe just over 400 FPS. So just keep that in mind. The FPS that we see in this video is not necessarily what you would get outside of the UK. So let's go and have a look at the chrono, the rate of fire test and the range test, and we will see how we get on. I'll see you in a second. Unusually low, 289, 278 is the minimum, 284 is the average. That's with no hop. Wow. Just over 11.5 rounds a second. It's not bad. Wow. 19. Safe to say it's 19 rounds a second. Outstanding. easy over 50 meters. And I am back then from the shooting test and everything. So I'll start with the FPS. I was disappointed. It has been downgraded. I think it's gone too far, but it is what it is. You know, it's sub 300, so we're looking at 290 down to 278-ish. You know, just a little bit disappointed. I mean, it's perfectly legal for anywhere in the UK, and that's great. A little bit disappointed that it's that low, but it's easily resolved, and we'll have a look at the internals in the disassembly video. Range wise, about 50 meters, a little bit inconsistent. It's not the best shooting double bell that we've had so far. I felt a little bit let down by it. It did sound a little bit scratchy as well. It didn't sound as smooth as some of the others. Like the 416 that we had was like buttery smooth and just felt lovely. Just didn't quite have that same snappy pizzazz in this as the 416 did. In terms of rate of fire then, pretty standard really, 11.5 rounds per second roughly on the 7.4, which is fairly respectable. I'd expect that to come down a little bit to probably below 10 if you are at the 400 plus factory standard spring. And then we'll get in sort of 19 rounds per second on the rate of fire on the 11.1. Again, it kind of came alive. I would expect that maybe to come down to about 18 rounds a second if you've got the higher power spring in there. But generally speaking, it was all right performance. The issue is with them being Chinese made, there's probably a little bit inconsistency from literally you could get 10 off a production line and everyone would perform slightly differently just because the slight inconsistencies of it. You're never going to get the consistency that somebody like Tokyo Marui has, for example, because they're just not built in the same conditions. So just keep that in mind that, you know, the performance will be up and down, but thereabouts is where it is. I'm not gonna lie, I am still entirely digging on it and absolutely loving it from a, you know, this was a big part, I was going to say my childhood, I was a fully grown man, it wasn't my childhood. It was a big part of my early adult life. That's the better term to go with. I did find that the included high cap shot and fed absolutely lovely. I also found that the battle axe and the SEMA high caps that I had fit and fed absolutely lovely as well without missing a beat at all. So we'll have a look at fitting the 203 then. So this is the barrel mounting system. So we're just going to unhook this barrel clip here, and there is sort of looks like an extra bit's been welded in there just to line it up properly. Now if you wanted to change to one of these mountings, so that's the RIS mounting, or I'm guessing that's for a gas blowback, possibly. Somebody might be able to correct me and tell me in the comments, or have a look to see if somebody's already corrected me and checked me. But this one is for the AEG. So we've got this goes towards the back of the barrel in here. This little pin helps centralize it. We've got our trigger, our safety, and we've got our trigger guard for it as well. So to fit it then, what I'm going to call the proper way, we're going to pull down the delta ring there, and we're going to wobble that bottom panel out. I'm going to kind of put that hoop through that gap there, and I'm going to, in fact, no I'm not, because that's getting stopped. I'm going to put the barrel on first at the back, and that literally slid right into position. I'm going to drop it down a little bit and just manipulate that clip there we go. So I just pulled it forward a little bit out of the where it's locked in at the back, and it should, I don't know if you can see the teeth in there on the like the barrel nut below, but the peg should go in, so it's basically all in a straight line with the body. Now I'm gonna have to sort of admit I am like absolutely gushing about this a little bit. So I've just lifted up this clip on this side, flip it over a little bit, lifted this clip up and dislocated that spring by the looks of it. Awesome. Ah, there we go. Oh, I'm having a nightmare. Okay, so that spring should hook around that one, it goes around that one, there we go. Okay, so it's locked down. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with this little spring, if that's even right. But basically it's locked down now. It's hooked on this side there. There's a little bit of wobble, but that's how they've always been for me. I think that's fairly normal. Now, that adds a substantial amount of weight, but my lord, does that not look absolutely just outstanding. What a piece of kit. What a absolute, like, it's the kind of thing where a new player turns up, just looks at you and goes, I think I'm going to go home because I can't compete with that. It just looks phenomenal. I have forgot to pull the trigger guard down. There it is. So to open it and load it then, we thumb press on here, and that barrel assembly, oh, I've messed up there. I've left the sling loop in the wrong way around. Oh, okay. See, any videos where it always looks like it's perfect first time, it's lies. I make mistakes all the time. There we go. Lock it back down again. There we go. So thumb on it, barrel goes forward. There's my shell. Grab my shell out. Now, this is a Moscow shell. So what we've got is a valve in the bottom, which you need a tool. I don't know if it's self-resetting. I will go and check and film this, shoot him. You put some BBs in the top. You fill it up with gas using your can upside down. Charging it up, nozzle down, the Moscow should stay upside down like that. The BBs go in the tube. When you pull the trigger, they're basically, let's see if I can show you that pin. There is a pin on there. That pin pushes on that valve and it releases the gas and the BBs spray out the front. And that is how the 40mm shells work in Airsoft, the Moscow shells. So to reload it then, there is some real heft to that. Oop, dropping the mag out and including that with it. There we go. So I'm going to chuck the shell in, lock it back, and it's locked back because I can see that's clocked in. If I do that again, it's retaining the shell and it is safe, ready to go. If I don't want to have it ready to shoot, I've got a safety there that physically blocks the trigger altogether and stops my finger getting to it properly as well. When I'm ready to shoot, I click that forward, I aim, and I pull the trigger and off it goes. And that is the setup. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I might need to go and have a little bit of alone time because it's just gorgeous. Okay, so the Moscow then, put your speed loader, fill each of your tubes up. You will lose some BBs out of each tube, so don't worry, you know, if BBs are coming out. I'm spraying all over. Tin of gas upside down, keeping that upright. Just fill it up. It's a silent fill valve, so as soon as it stops making any noise, you know it's full. The valve at the bottom is self-resetting, so you don't need to reset it at all. Bring in the launcher, open it up, in goes the shell, lock it back, you're ready to go. The performance let me down a little bit. The looks are just phenomenal. It just looks so nice. I'm going to shut up about it now. We're going to get back on with the job. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do basically a gloved operation, which will be interesting considering we've got the 203 on the front as well. So thanks to the guys on my Discord for suggesting this. So here we go then. So in terms of the grenade launcher, the 203, I can definitely open it up. I can get a shell out, chuck a new shell in, lock that back. The safety is a little bit fiddly to get with my gloves to put the safety on. Yeah, I'm not getting that safety. So I could definitely take the safety off if it was already on. I can definitely pull that trigger. It is quite a firm trigger because you're pushing against a pressured switch. Valve even, not switch, a valve. So obviously just keep that in mind. In terms of moving on to the rest of the functionality then, the mag, definitely get the mag in and out without any issues. The selector, I can definitely do. You know, these are ARs probably partially built and designed with gloved operation in mind. The charging handle I can definitely operate, and then even the battery, he says, famous last words, I could probably with a little bit of messing get that. I would expect that I can probably get that. I can definitely adjust the sights. I did forget to mention that the sights are adjustable horizontally and partially vertical, I think, as well. You can adjust them a little bit with a side cog. The easiest one is it just flip over. There are two different apertures. So one tiny aperture, one wider aperture, and they can be adjusted left and right to match the front sight post. The front sight post is an adjustable one as well and can be adjusted up and down. There's usually a little tool, but you can probably put some needle nose in it. You'll just scratch it up a little bit. So the last thing then, so I've got more or less some of the thickest, chunkiest batteries I've got. So we'll start with the 7.4 that I was used for the unboxing. If we lift that up, open the battery compartment, so again, flip it open. Yes, it's mini Tamiya, but the amount of room I've got in there is just absolutely obscene. What you may end up with, I've got quite a thick, chunky 11.1. Again, goes in, absolutely mountains of room, absolutely no issues. I've got another thick, chunky 11.1. Must be an 11.1, yeah. That again, absolutely no issue whatsoever. And the last but not least, the normal 11.1 I do the shooting test with. Again, absolutely bags the room. You are not going to find it difficult to fit something in the stock there at all with that setup. In terms of the mag itself, it is a high cap, so we don't fill this exit hole at all. This is where the BBs come out of. We clip the mag open, we pour the BBs in the top until they fill up. There is a winding wheel on the bottom. Now we keep our mag mostly vertical, upright like that. This should be facing up, and we wind. We keep winding, and it's this on this one. It winds forward that way. We're going to keep winding, and you will hear a very distinctive click when the mag is fully wound. My advice to you is, if you're playing, let off 30-40 rounds, wind your mag up again. If you get to a point where you're shooting and there is a sudden long unwinding noise, God, that's an awful noise I'm making. It generally means that there's not enough BBs to keep the spring wound in the magazine, and it's time to change the mag. If it stops firing but you've not heard that noise, wind it back up, and you'll probably find it'll carry on again, or it could be a jam that's in there. Now, I absolutely love it, purely because it's just giving me so much nostalgia vibes. You know, it's really making me quite pleased and happy about it. The fact that you get the 203 and the shell, and the accessories used to switch this up to fit it to something else differently that doesn't have this setup, I think is pretty impressive in itself as well. And you still have the ability to put it back to what I'm going to call a standard A4, because that's sort of what it's modelled on. No, it's not 100% accurate, it's missing the trades. It's a good representation of it though. Performance is a little bit disappointing. Not what I was quite hoping for. Disappointed in the FPS a little bit as well, but overall it is an absolute beast of a piece of kit, and I really do like it. I'm struggling to, even though I'm saying bad things about it in some aspects of it, I am still struggling to not like it. It makes me pleased to see it a little bit. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. I will make sure that there is video showing the Moscart shooting. I'll make sure there's video, a little bit of video of it possibly in a game. And please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.